Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be taking a look at lesson 61 from A Course in Miracles.
Ooh.
This one is a really interesting one, I think,
Hmm.
and it's all about becoming the light of the world.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful image, isn't it,
It is.
to think about?
Yeah.
And it kind of follows on nicely from the previous lesson, which was all about recognizing our own inherent worth.
Oh, yeah.
That we all have this value
Okay.
that's just kind of built in.
Yeah, that we don't have to earn it.
Right.
So is this lesson kind of saying that once we recognize that inherent worth that we have,
Hmm.
then we can become the light of the world?
I think that's a great way to put it.
Ah.
Yeah, I think it's like taking that awareness of our own goodness and then letting it radiate outwards. It's like if you truly believe in your own value, your own light,
Right.
you can't help but share it with the world.
That makes sense. But this whole light metaphor,
Right.
I got to admit, I'm finding it a little bit abstract.
Yeah.
Like, what does it actually mean to be the light of the world? Do I need to, like, buy a bunch of glow sticks or something?
Thankfully, no wardrobe changes are required.
Okay, good.
The light here is really symbolic. It's representing all those positive qualities that we carry within.
Huh.
Things like compassion, understanding, kindness, forgiveness.
Right.
It's that inner spark of goodness that the Course in Miracles is really wanting us to tap into.
So it's not about, like, developing superpowers or anything.
No, although it can feel pretty powerful when you start putting this lesson into practice.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Imagine you have a single candle in a dark room.
Yeah.
That candle doesn't have to try to illuminate the space, does it?
Yeah.
It's just its very nature to shine, and
Yeah.
we're like that candle. We naturally radiate warmth and light simply by being who we are.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that? How do we actually be that light?
Well, the Course in Miracles, as always, is all about practical application.
Yeah.
And Lesson 61 actually gives us some really concrete tools to work with.
Okay.
One of them that I think is really powerful is the idea of incorporating affirmations into our day.
Okay.
Specifically repeating the phrase, I am the light of the world.
Okay, so we're back to that dramatic phrasing.
Yeah.
I've tried affirmations before.
Sure.
Sometimes I find them a little bit, forced. Like I'm just saying the words
Yeah.
without really feeling them.
Yeah, I hear that, and I think that's a common experience that people have.
Okay.
The key with affirmations, I think, is to move beyond just the intellectual understanding of the words.
Right.
And to really let them sink deep into your being.
Okay.
To let them resonate with your heart, not just your head.
So instead of just like saying the words, we have to actually like embody that idea.
Exactly.
Like being that light.
You got, and here's a little trick
Okay.
to help with that.
Yeah.
As you're repeating that affirmation, try visualizing yourself
Okay.
actually radiating warmth and light.
Hmm.
Picture that light extending outwards from you.
Great.
Touching everyone you encounter.
So we're adding that visualization element to make it
exact,
more real.
more tangible.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
And A Course in Miracles does take a really practical approach.
It does.
Yeah.
It's not just about these
Yeah.
kind of airy-fairy concepts. It's about really
Right.
giving us things that we can do.
It gives us exercises and things like that.
Exactly.
So what kind of exercises are we talking about here?
So one of the exercises that I think is really powerful is about bringing intentionality into our actions.
Okay.
Being more mindful
Mhm.
of what we're doing and why we're doing it.
So like throughout the day, being mindful of, what we're doing.
The lesson suggests starting each morning
Oh, okay.
by actually planning 3 specific ways
Wow.
that we can share our light that day.
Oh, so before we even get out of bed, we're already setting that intention
Exactly.
to bring more light into the world.
Yes.
Okay.
And these acts don't have to be these big, grand gestures. It could be something as simple as offering a genuine compliment to someone.
Okay.
Or lending a listening ear to someone who's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just smiling at a stranger.
Okay. So just small everyday actions that carry that energy
Yes.
of our light.
That's it.
Okay. I can see how that would start to shift things.
Yeah.
Both in our own experience and in the world around us.
Yeah, I think so too.
What happens after we've kind of put those intentions into action?
That's where the evening portion of the exercise comes in.
Okay.
The Course in Miracles suggests that we take a few moments before bed to reflect on the day.
Oh,
Think about those 3 actions that you planned.
right.
How did they go?
Hmm.
Did you manage to bring a little more light into those situations?
Yeah.
What did you learn from the experience?
Oh, so it's not just about, doing good deeds.
Right.
It's also about reflecting on how those actions made us feel and how they impacted others.
That's a really important part of it, I think.
Yeah, like a constant feedback loop
Yes.
to help us refine that understanding of what it means to be the light of the world.
You got it.
Okay.
And I think that's what makes this lesson so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just this nice concept to
Right.
think about.
Yeah.
It's a call to action. It's an invitation to actively embody our light and share it with the world.
This is so fascinating.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing the world in a whole new light, literally.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot about the kind of theory and the practical application of this light concept. But I'm curious, you know, if everyone has this inner light, does that mean we're all the same kind of light?
That's a great question.
Or are there like different flavors, so to speak?
That's a great question. And it leads us to one of the most beautiful aspects of this lesson.
Oh, okay.
I
Let's
think,
hear it.
yeah.
Okay.
So the beauty of this lesson is that it acknowledges our individuality while also emphasizing our interconnectedness. It's like, imagine a night sky filled with stars.
Oh, I love that visual.
Right. Each star is shining brightly.
Yeah.
But they all have different colors, sizes, intensities.
Right.
Similarly, we all possess that inner light, but we express it in unique ways.
So it's not about trying to be like someone else's light.
Right.
It's about discovering
Exactly.
and expressing what makes our own light special.
Yeah.
That's reassuring because I think sometimes we get caught up
Yeah.
in comparing ourselves to others.
Absolutely.
And feeling like our light isn't good enough.
I think that's really common.
Yeah.
And the Course in Miracles is really all about recognizing that inherent value
Okay.
in each individual expression
Yeah.
of that light. There's no right or wrong way to shine.
This makes me think about the idea of purpose.
Okay.
Does this lesson say anything about how our unique light connects to our individual purpose in the world?
It does. The Course in Miracles often talks about aligning our actions with our unique talents and passions.
Yeah.
You know, when we do that,
Yeah.
our light shines even brighter.
Right.
Because we're operating from a place of authenticity and joy.
So it's like our light is most potent
Yeah.
when we're doing what we were meant to do. What truly lights us up?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea. But what about those times when we don't feel so bright?
Sure.
You know, when we're struggling,
Yeah.
maybe even feeling a bit dark inside.
Mhm.
Does that mean our light has gone out?
Not at all. Remember, this inner light is part of our inherent nature.
Right.
It can't be extinguished,
Okay.
just like you can't stop a star from being a star.
Right.
Sometimes it might feel dimmer,
Okay.
like a candle flame flickering in the wind.
But the flame is still there,
Yes,
waiting to be rekindled.
exactly.
Okay.
And those moments when we feel lost or uncertain, that's when it becomes even more important to connect with that inner light, to remember those affirmations, to practice those exercises, to remind ourselves of who we truly are.
So it's like we have to actively tend to our own inner flame,
I love that.
especially during those tougher times.
Yeah.
We can't just expect it to burn brightly on its own.
Right. It's about nurturing that inner light,
Yeah.
feeding it with self-compassion, forgiveness, and a commitment to choosing love over fear.
Okay.
And the more we tend to our own light, the more we can share it with the world.
This brings me back to that image you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The night sky filled with stars.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone is contributing their unique light,
Right.
what does that create?
I think it creates a breathtaking masterpiece
Wow.
of complexity and beauty,
Yeah.
a tapestry woven from countless threads of light,
Mm.
each one irreplaceable and essential to the whole.
I love that visual. So it's not just about what our light does for others,
Right.
but also how it contributes to the larger picture,
Exactly.
to the collective good.
Yeah. And that's why I think this lesson is so empowering.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we're not just passive observers in this world,
Right.
but active participants, co-creators of something truly magnificent.
This has been such an enlightening conversation.
It has.
I feel like I'm seeing the world in a whole new light, literally.
Me too.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners
Mhm.
as they go out and shine their light?
I think the most important thing is to be gentle with yourself.
Okay.
You know, this is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There will be days when your light shines brightly,
Yeah.
and there will be days when it feels dimmer.
Mhm.
Embrace it all.
Okay.
Keep practicing those exercises. Keep connecting with that inner goodness,
Yeah.
and trust that your light is making a difference even when you can't see it.
And keep reminding yourself that you are, in fact, the light of the world.
Yes.
And that light, my friends, is something truly special.
Beautifully said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Lesson 61.
And we'll see you next time for another journey into A Course in Miracles.
You know, as we've been talking about this, I keep thinking about the idea of perception.
Okay.
Like, A Course in Miracles is all about shifting our perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the world through a different lens.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
So when we embrace this idea that we are the light of the world, does that change how we perceive things?
I think it fundamentally changes how we perceive everything.
Okay.
Not just ourselves, but everyone we encounter.
So instead of focusing on flaws or differences or whatever, we're starting to see that spark of goodness in everyone.
Exactly.
That inner light.
That's beautifully put.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that everyone, regardless of, their actions or their behaviors, possesses that same inherent worth.
Right.
That same divine spark that we do.
And that shift in perception, I think, must have a huge impact on our relationships.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it fosters compassion and understanding and forgiveness. Yeah, it allows us to connect on a deeper level.
Okay.
Recognizing that shared spark of divinity that unites us all.
This brings us back to that image you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Of the night sky filled with stars.
Right.
Each one unique, but all contributing to this kind of overall beauty of the cosmos.
It's like we're all part of one big luminous tapestry.
Yeah.
Each thread, each individual light is essential to the whole.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening deep dive I feel like I'm walking away with.
Yeah.
Not just a new understanding of this lesson, but a whole new perspective on life.
Me too.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Yeah, I hope everyone is feeling inspired to go out and shine their light, to connect with that inner goodness and share it with the world.
Because even the smallest act of kindness, the simplest gesture of love can make a difference.
It's like adding another spark to that beautiful tapestry of light, making the world a little bit brighter, one interaction at a time.
Beautifully said. Thank you for joining us on this journey into A Course in Miracles.
Thank you for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you tomorrow.